Good morning, good morning, good morning. The sun is shining, the birds are chirping, and you are breathing. Today is Wednesday, March the 13th, 2024, and I would like to welcome you all to This Is Just a Thought with Stephen Cornegay. Hey, hit that like and subscribe button along with that bell icon so you can get notified when I drop these podcasts. Keep you in the loop. Hey, there's going to be a lot of interesting topics, discussions, opinions, thoughts that I am going to talk about. And I would really hate for you guys to miss out. Might be something to make you think, wonder, ponder, or you could go the opposite direction and say, he needs to shut up. Well, whether yay or nay, like I always say, I'm pretty thick skinned. Hey, and also get in that comment box. Let me know what you think. Whether yay or nay, like I said, I'm pretty thick skinned. I won't get upset. I won't bite. We can surely sit down and have an adult, mature conversation without getting our feelings involved. So hit that like and subscribe button and also that bell icon so you can get notified when I drop these podcasts. And get in that comment section. Let me know what you think. Let me know what you think. Like I said, today is Wednesday, hump day. We have finally made it midweek swing, midweek swing, midweek swing. Man, been a pretty good week, I gotta say. Gotta say. All right, let's move along here, man. Hey, today's word of the day, ambidextrous, which means using both hands with equal ease. Ambidextrous. Hope everyone, like I said, enjoys their Wednesday, man. The temperatures here in North Carolina, it is still beautiful. High 70s. I misspoke yesterday. They were at one point in time they were saying it was going to get around the high 60s, maybe 70s, but I think it actually got up to like 75 yesterday. Wow. Getting to March. Hey, that's the temperature, man. Hey, this is the South. This is the South. It is an early spring of sorts, but like I said yesterday, I wouldn't put my hat and coat up just yet and break out the barbecue grill and the shorts and the tank tops and the halter tops and sundresses just yet, folks. Because, well, it's going to be 70s the remainder of the week pretty much until Friday and Saturday and Sunday. The rain returns. Rain returns, but it's still going to be in the high 60s. And then by Tuesday, high is expected to be 55 with lows in the 30s. Just a glimpse of spring, I guess, I gather. This happens every year. If you sit down and really think about it, it does. It happens every single year, just like this. Sometime early March, we'll get a good dose of some warm weather, sunny days, and then kaboom. A week or so, we return to those frigid temps, and I think it's a coming. Like I said, don't put up your coats and hats just yet, folks. This is the South. This is the South, and we are due at least one more freeze, and it may be a coming. Just may. So hey, don't get upset. Don't get your panties in a bunch and think, oh man, no, no, the summer, the warm temps will be here soon enough, and then a month or so after that, we will all be griping, pissing, and moaning about how hot it is, because that Carolina summer is a coming. It is. 100-degree days, 100-degree days. Don't rush it. Relax. Enjoy it. That's exactly what I'm doing. That is exactly what I'm doing. Like I said, today is expected to be in the 70s. Relaxation. Relaxation. All right, let's move along here, man. I got some corrections to make and some clarifications to make as it relates to the NFL uh, uh, NFL trades and acquisitions or whatever or what have you is free agency, I should say. NFL free agencies. A lot of key players have skedaddled away from their teams. Many are surprised. I'm surprised. An update. I misspoke yesterday. I said that the Tennessee Titan great Derrick Henry was still looking around for a team. Apparently, he had already had a team. I just missed it. And surprise, surprise, surprise. Again, I told you about old Russell Wilson and Kirk Cousins and their surprise here. Surprise number 2 and 3. Well, number 3 and 4. Looks like Derrick Henry is in Baltimore with Lamar Jackson. So the Baltimore Ravens, they have Derrick Henry. And if you know anything about Derrick Henry, Lamar Jackson, you ain't got no excuse now. You just ain't. Derrick Henry is that premier player. I don't care what anyone says. And you're not going to find too many in opposition of that statement. He's that top-notch premier player. Boy, he is a runner. And he ain't a bad receiver out of that backfield. Usually short passes. But hell, the guy he's getting a full head of steam, or he already has a full head of steam, and he catches a football, and he just runs right over you. Who's going to stop him? Not too many linebackers in the NFL can stop him. The show knows that there are not too many defensive backs that can stop him also. So Lamar Jackson, this very well may be the help you needed to get to that Super Bowl and win you one. We'll see. Yeah, Derrick Henry in Baltimore. Mm, mm, mm. That's looking good. That is going to be a good look, I think, for the whole squad. Just is. Hey, and moving along here, surprise number 4 for me. I didn't see this one coming also. Saquon Barkley. You know, Saquon Barkley of the New York Football Giants, that top notch. He's a good running back also. He has been injury prone. Well, Derrick Henry has been injured a few times also. Well, I won't say injury prone, but they both have gotten hurt. And Saquon got hurt a year or so ago, and he still came back, and he still was doing his thing. So he is now. This might explain why Philadelphia Eagles got rid of DeAndre Swift and sent him to Chicago. So Saquon Barkley is with the NFC East rival team, the Philadelphia Eagles. Jalen Hurts. You really ain't got no excuse now. Saquon Barkley is that player. He is also. He is. Just his. Good running back, good hard runner, good receiver out of the backfield also. So, hey, that's got to be some good pickups for Baltimore and the Eagles. It is. Areas where they were lacking or slacking or quite possibly needed a little bit more help. Looks like that this free agency thing has helped them out a little bit. It just has, man. So we'll see what happens. I can't wait for the NFL season to start. I don't know about you guys, but I can't wait. And I'm pretty bored right now. There's no football. But I really haven't spoken about it, but it is that time for the March Madness the college basketball NCAA tournament. It hasn't started, but the conference tournaments have started. Atlantic Coast Conference tournament started sometime this week. I want to say maybe yesterday or maybe Monday. North Carolina State Wolfpack, they beat Louisville, so they are advancing. I think they're going to be playing Syracuse because the winner of that Syracuse and NC State game plays Duke. By the way, NC State, hey, they weren't given much of a chance regular season. They didn't look so tough. Every year, I got to say this. Every year, North Carolina State University, there's always high hopes for them. They always look good on paper anyway. Many teams look good on paper, but when they get on the court or the field, it's a different story. And that has been the case for NC State far too long. But either way, they have advanced in the ACC tournament, at least to the next round. They will be playing Syracuse and they will be playing Syracuse. I believe they're going to play them tonight because I think that UNC, well, the rest of the teams are going to pick up on Thursday. So I think they're playing tonight. We'll see what happens. Coincidentally, also, I forgot to mention this yesterday. The ACC regular season ended I want to say Saturday with UNC versus Duke. UNC has swept. They beat Duke. They swept it this year. Surprise, surprise, surprise. I was surprised. I was thinking to myself, well, UNC beat them at the Dean Dome in Chapel Hill. Now they have to go to Cameron Indoor Stadium here in Durham and play Duke. It's going to be a tie, win one, lose one. Nothing to write home about, but surprise, surprise, surprise. UNC has swept the regular season and they are the ACC champs. How about them Tar Heels? How about them Tar Heels? Yeah, they swept Duke, and they did it pretty handily. UNC's defense, man, they were up by as much as 15 throughout the game. The game got cut down close towards the end, but the thing that was surprising me, and it surprised even some of the commentators, the UNC defense is good. But they completely and utterly, got to be honest with you, they shut Duke out last Saturday. And they won that ACC championship. So they are the ACC champions. I guess Duke is the runner up. Who cares? It's Duke. Or Puke, should I say. The Puke Blue Devils. That's who we are. They're the Puke Blue Devils. Nobody cares about them. So it looks like, as far as the tournament goes, UNC is going ready to play Florida State Thursday, and Duke is going to play either Syracuse or State, depending on who wins that game. I believe it's tonight. I think it is tonight. So we'll see what happens. ACC tournament, March Madness, it's a coming. It's a coming. Eh, Side note also, if you guys haven't been paying attention, the men's basketball March Madness is set to start, but the women's March Madness, and if you've been watching the women's basketball this season, they've been looking pretty tough. They are playing their hearts out. They are balling. Many instances, balling harder than the men. So hey, I got to keep an eye on that women's tournament also, because there's some pretty good ball players out there, and they made it known. Hey, they want the WNBA. I almost said NWA. I know you probably caught that. I almost said it, but they want it. They want in the WNBA, and from the looks of it, they will get in there. They just will. So I keep you guys updated on this. Well, the ACC tournament also, and the March Madness NCAA tournament that's coming up also. So hey, football may be gone. I can get a little excitement for a little while before football returns. I just have to spend the summer. I don't know what I'll be doing. I can always watch my wrestling. I just can't. Just can't. I can always watch my wrestling. So that's what I'll be doing also. All right, let's move along here. Hey, an update of sorts for Haiti. Looks like the gang leader that got on the did an interview and said, "Hey, if the prime minister and all of his cabinet or whatever, what have you, steps down, the violence will stop. The gangs, us as gang members, will stop all the violence." It looks like he's true to his word because the prime minister stepped down sometime yesterday or early yesterday, and there really hasn't been that much violence. They said it has slacked off tremendously in Haiti. So it looks like the gang leader kept his word. Now, and also an update and correction. I said yesterday that police officers were coming from Ghana in Africa, but that was an that's a whole mistake. I made a huge mistake on that. It's not Ghana, it's Kenya. The Kenya that was sending police officers to help with the violence, of course. But after all that violence and upheaval and unrest last week, Kenya has said we're going to put a hold to sending police officers to Haiti, of course. Why would they? Those are police officers. Those aren't military personnel, and that's probably what is needed to calm some of that violence in Haiti, or that violence that once was. But like I said, Kenya has said, "Hey, we're not going to send them." Understandably, there's no need to get upset with Kenya. I can't fault them. Those are police officers versus military personnel, and even if you're sending military personnel, you gotta quite possibly think again because the violence they said they were experiencing there in Haiti was unbelievable. It just was. It just was. Now, also the U.S. is sending or has sent U.S. Marines that specialize in anti-terrorism. Now, they were sent to protect and evacuate the U.S. Embassy and evacuate, I should say, the U.S. Embassy personnel family members. Because a few embassy personnel they stayed on to help with the transition of power. Because what they're saying is, the agreement was that if the current prime minister or former prime minister was to step down and leave, I believe they even said they wanted him to leave the country. Yep. And it's not the first time that has happened. Like I told you guys yesterday, back in '94, those gang members or citizens, they wanted, I believe it was Papa Dandada. It was his name. They used to call him the Dandada. They wanted him out. So he had to leave the country. He had to seek asylum somewhere else. So they're saying they wanted that prime minister gone. He's out of there now. And now they're saying there's getting ready to be a transition of power where they're going to appoint an interim prime minister, an interim president, an interim council until they can get these fair and balanced democratic elections held. Looks like everything is back to normal. All merry. Give you all the warm and fuzzies inside. For how long? Is the root cause of what has happened in Haiti, has it been eliminated? The corruption? That was the premise of those violent attacks and all this chaos, calamity, and upheaval in Haiti. It was the fact that those in power are corrupt and they need to be elected by the people. Now, the Haitian gang leader also said something very interesting because the U.S., like I said, like many others in the international community, has came forward and pledged support financially. And that Haitian gang leader said, hey, no matter how much money is given internationally, we, the Haitian people, are going to elect who we want to in office, and that's final. So we'll see what happens with that. Certainly praying for those folks in Haiti, those innocent people, because there's no way you can convince me. We see all of this on TV and we read all of this on our news feeds on social media, or we read on the internet at media outlet sites what is going on. And I think sometimes we forget about regular citizens that are there just trying to make a living and survive and live and raise their kids or whatever, what have you. We may many times often forget about them, and they are, of course, neglected and forgotten about. So pray for those folks there. Also, another thing that came out, I kind of touched on it yesterday. Um, there's an international, I'm not sure how I would word this, but there's an international group or committee that assesses food inequalities throughout the world. I can't remember the name of it. They are well known, but they have came out and said that in Haiti, they're like a meal away from starvation. A lot of families, a lot of people, most of its citizens. Meal away from starvation. Can't get to the food. All the violence, all the corruption. It seems odd and just crazy to you and I as our American citizens, because we can readily just get up and go to the grocery store if we have the funds to purchase. But imagine, well, you don't even have the funds. You have no way and no means of even going to find anything because the grocery stores or community stores or whatever, what have you, have been taken over by gangs. And that's if you're lucky, if they haven't burnt it down to a crisp. Yeah, it's that serious in Haiti. So they're saying that many families, children, women, men, elderly, are on the brink of starvation, very much like they are in certain other parts of this world we are living in. Gotta ask yourself. You gotta ask yourself. You gotta say to yourself, is all this really worth it? Well, it is for somebody because they have no problem carrying through and going through with the process of doing this. And they're doing it with such ease. No remorse. No cares are given. Mm, mm, mm. Keep you guys updated on Haiti. And like I said, pray for those folks down there. Just do. Now, also, let's move along here, man. Hey, looks like yesterday, as of yesterday, primary resorts for, let's just say, Georgia and Mississippi, and of course, other states for the presidential nomination to run has ended. It's over. It's a wrap. We now know who the the two runners are. No surprise. Former President Donald Trump and President Biden have been named as the candidates after securing the electoral college votes they needed after those primaries. Really, no surprise. We knew they were the front runners. Well, can't even say front runner for President Biden. There was one or two other people, but they weren't really considered to be a threat on the Democratic side. As far as President Trump goes, on the Republican side, Nikki Haley, she bowed out last week after her primary loss, her final primary loss. She said enough is enough. He's the front runner. He's running. Um, she still hasn't really said if she's going to pledge or throw her support behind former President Trump, because as you know, if you're in a certain party, when they announce who the nominee is, who's going to be running, all of those in that party are supposed to rally around and support no matter what. But she still really hasn't came out and said whether or not she's going to do that. Hmm, just hasn't. So President Trump, former President Trump, and President Biden, they're it. They're it. And an update of sorts for, oh man, an update and a somewhat or some semblance of a victory for former President Trump. A Georgia judge has dismissed some of the charges in that election subversion case they have against the former president. You know, down in Georgia, he was accused, or some that were that worked for him were accused of intimidation and harassment against Florida poll workers. And you know, they showed up. Some stories have came out. They showed up at the where they were counting the ballots, trying to intimidate, get in, and say they were trying to make sure they were counting the ballots correctly. They were even some instances that has come up that they showed up at these poll workers' houses threatening. But some of the charges that were dismissed was had to deal with President Trump. Because if you remember, former President Trump, there was a recorded phone conversation where he was on the phone with the state's attorney general, telling that the state's attorney general, "Hey, I need this amount of votes. I need you to go find them. They're there. I need you to make sure, count them and count them correctly. This is what I need so I can win this presidency." And you can also hear on the phone conversation, the recorded phone conversation, the Attorney General for Georgia telling him, "Mr. President, that is not the case. You don't have enough votes." So somehow, some way, somebody down there, I guess the Attorney General or whatever, what have you, decided, hey, they were going to charge him with that charge also of and put it under that umbrella of intimidation and harassment. And as I said then, and as I said before numerous times, I just didn't feel that charge was going to stick, because when I heard the phone conversation, all I heard was a desperate man trying to get some votes. He really didn't intimidate him. He really didn't threaten him, unless you said he intimidated him because he was the president himself calling. I just didn't hear that. All I heard was a desperate man trying to get the votes he needed to win the presidential election, to get those electoral college votes for Georgia. I just didn't hear. I got to be honest with you. I just didn't hear that. So the judge dropped that charge, but the other charges, the other case is still wide open down there for that intimidation and harassment of those poll workers. And I don't think Donald Trump can be tried to that, because that wasn't him personally. I think they're going to have those they have those they have charged already. They're going to have their day in court. I don't see President Trump being down there for that. I just didn't. Maybe it's me. Maybe I'm wrong. I have been known to be wrong. That's no quarrel. You'll get no quarrels from me about that. I have been wrong numerous times. No biggie, no skin off my back. But I just don't see him or those charges as it relates to him. I don't see him sticking. Now those other ones they arrested and ready to go to trial, or they have indicted that are getting ready to go to trial, you guys might have a little bit of problems, troubles, because I think they got you. They got you hook, line, and sinker. You're not just in their sights anymore. They've already indicted you. So they got some evidence. They got a story to tell. So yeah, we'll see what happens with this, with old what's going on down in Georgia. There's so much going on down in Georgia, especially with those charges or they're coming up with against that district attorney down there. Says she may have inappropriately had a relationship with a special prosecutor, and they're trying to figure out how she had all this money in her house. Well, she's a that's just reaching. What are they trying to say? She's a drug lord, a drug lordess, or something? I don't know. She's crooked. She's corrupt. As far as the allegation goes about her having an improper relationship and quite possibly using some of the money to fund vacations or trips or massages or a night out on the town, dinner, wine, and dancing, I don't know about that either. I think you guys are just reaching, reaching pretty far. She's a grown woman. That special prosecutor was a grown man. I mean, I don't think it's a crime to have a little tisk with someone. It's immoral because the special prosecutor was married. Immoral. I mean, does that goes towards her character? Could be if you played it that way. I don't see it. I mean, they're grown people. Folks do this mess all the time in this world. They just do. Grown people. I still think you guys are reaching, reaching. And it just don't float my boat. You ain't got my attention. All I saw was just like with President Trump, former President Trump, that charge, they were trying to charge him with harassment and intimidation against the state attorney general. I didn't see that. All I saw was a desperate man trying to get some votes so he could hold on to office. I didn't hear any intimidation. Might have been a little bit of harassment, but intimidation? No, I didn't. I didn't hear that. I didn't see that. I didn't feel that. And just like here with this district attorney down in Georgia, they're trying to say that she had an inappropriate relationship, and that goes, I guess, goes towards her character. She's, you know, I just don't see that. All I see is two grown people having a consenting relationship. Immoral it may be, but a crime it ain't. I just don't see it. I just see two grown people fooling around. There, I said it. I'm sure many of you said the same thing. When I first heard it, I was like, well, that's just two grown people doing what they do. Immoral it is, but against the law, no. Should she be taken off the case? No. Or are they horning in and focusing in on the fact that money that well, I just think they're reaching. They're reaching. I think that theory or thought of she used funds for improper reasons. I think that's a reach also. I really do. I just do. I think you guys are reaching. You aren't looking too good right now. We'll see what happens. But yeah, I think they're just reaching. I mean, immoral, yes. A crime, money that quite possibly could have been using that wasn't supposed to be used to fund those night out on the times, a night out on time, out on the town of dinner, wine, dancing, trips, massages, or whatever, what have you. If you guys can prove it, you can prove it. But I really don't think you can prove it. It doesn't sound like you're proving it. Sounds like you're just reaching to me. Just does. It's grown man and grown woman. Let it go. It's a wrap. It's a wrap. All right. Let's go get it. Now, I know many of you have heard, just like I have, there's a bill that is on the floor of the House, that is going to be on the floor of the House today, to ban TikTok. Well, what do you know? Appears the U.S. government wants to ban TikTok, and it has bipartisan support also. And even the president of the United States, President old Joey Boy Biden, said, hey, if it gets through the House and the Senate, I will approve it. I will sign it into law. Now, here's what has happened. The U.S. has accused a Chinese company that owns TikTok of allowing, or quite possibly could allow, the Chinese government to spy on U.S. citizens that use TikTok, collecting data, seeing what you do, what you think, what you dance to, what you groove to, get your personal information. For those that have a business account set up on TikTok or any social media site for that matter, you got to put in your personal information, your banking information. So if you're putting in your banking information, they're saying, hey, the Chinese government quite possibly has easy, readily access to your banking information, and they could hack it. Maybe they could, maybe they couldn't. So they're accusing the U.S., the Chinese government, of spying and collecting data on U.S. citizens. Now, if you're saying to yourself, "Why? What in the world?" If you guys may not have caught it, or maybe you've forgotten, or some of you may remember earlier this year or late last year, the U.S. government, the feds, they banned their employees from using TikTok in government buildings. They say, "Don't bring it in here. Don't open that. If you have it on your phone, don't open that app when you're on government grounds or you're on government clock." That is the feds. They can tell you what to do. And that's the way I remember it. And I was just a lowly U.S. naval sailor. It was explained very early on. If you're employed by the United States government, the federal government, you do what they say, when they say, how they say, and where they say. If they tell you not to do this, you better not do that, or you will be hemmed up. So that appears to be what has happened. Yeah. They told their government employees, because apparently some of the government employees, just like you and I on our regular job, they were on those social media apps. They were on TikTok. Yeah, I mean, hey, everybody does it. Everybody's on social media all day. And that's the catalyst for me. Um, you can go anywhere, into any business, even on your job, you see folks on their phone, scrolling, or they're texting, Twitter fingers. That's the thing now. That's just what folks do on these social media sites. But here's my question, and I want to ask you guys this, and please get in that comment section, because I find it very interesting, and I really want to know what people think about this. If in fact the U.S. government, the House, the Senate, the President of the United States signs a bill into law that bans TikTok from the U.S. citizens, is that a violation of our freedom of speech? Just wondering. Is it a violation of our freedom of speech? Does the U.S. government have the right to do that? And many are saying yes, and some are saying no. But if you really think about it, if indeed the Chinese, because we've known for some time, and we've gone through it time and time again, with what they call Chinese hackers that hack into computer systems or whatever, what have you. They obtain important data and personal information about certain U.S. citizens and government workers, even, and banking information. And then let's not forget, last year we had that spy balloon that mysteriously appeared. It was going across pretty much went across from coast to coast of the United States before it was shot down. Does the U.S. government have the right to do that? Yeah, I got to be honest with you. If it is going to quite possibly affect the U.S. citizens to the point that it may be terrorism, cyber attack, because it's also been talked about, and it is known and has been explained that cyber attacks, they are just as much a huge problem as actual physical wartime or warlike attacks. That's the new war now. Cyber attacks. And so many things, you gather all this information from these cyber attacks where you hack into these computer systems, or you bring, there was one theory that a guy had spouted out, and when I first heard it, I said, "What in the world? That's foolish." Then again, if you think about it, it really ain't. Everything we do, we used to say just about everything we do, use, is on the internet. So now everything is on the internet. I mean, hey, we all remember a couple of weeks ago when internet service was down. What was that for? AT&T. Oh, folks lost their ever-loving mind. Folks were trying to, call and raise sin and Cain, calling 911, asking what was wrong with my internet. So the internet is a very integral part of our lives. For many of us, it is our life. And so if that's the internet is it for you, and happens to be a cyber attack, unlike what happened last week or so ago when they just had a server problem. Imagine an all-out cyber attack where they take down any and everything, and we can't do what we do. Speaking on the telephone or getting online is going to be the least of your worries, your woes and troubles, because if they hack into the system and they have your banking information, and also this guy talked about, and I talked about it also, the electrical grid. Woof, electrical grid, water, airplanes, you name it. Everything is on online, and heaven forbid if China is of that mindset and they decide to not pull the plug but hit the button, there's gonna be a lot of hurt folks out here. You guys aren't gonna be able to handle it. So is it a violation of a freedom of speech for the government to say no, get away, no, TikTok is going to be banned here in the United States? I don't know. I think it is. I don't think it's if it's for the common good, I can't see it as a violation of our freedom of speech or our right to do what we want to do. I just can't see it that way. All those scenarios and examples I just gave about how important it is and how our way of living and thinking is now all online as opposed to when I was coming along, where it was more or less the internet didn't exist. Everything had to be done manually. Yeah, I could see why the U.S. government would want to step in and say, hey, at least moderate and dictate what goes on or what rights and how much control these foreign countries have as it relates to us as citizens and our usage of certain apps. How much information can you get from these apps? Apparently, a whole lot. And it's been proven. It just has. It's been proven time and time again. There's a whole lot you can obtain. A lot of banking information is online. All banking information is online now. And another thing is, I've noticed and I have discovered, and I've spoke about this before as it relates to the elderly. That the elderly, they're not too keen and not too big on the internet. And with everything going towards the internet now, the elderly are finding it very hard and difficult to conduct business. And that's one of their primary reasons for not wanting to deal with the internet is their information could be stolen. But like I said then, and I said before, sooner or later, they're going to have to come to the table because everything is online now. And that means a lot of our personal information is readily available if you know what to do, if you know how to hack. So we'll see what happens with that. Is that a violation of our constitutional rights, freedom of speech? Yeah, it is. But it may be for our own good. When we often enjoy something, we can't think clear. And this may be one of the few times that I can actually side with the government as it relates to taking away or getting rid of something that may be harmful. Just have to. Just may. All right, I'm going to get out of here. I'm going to go and skedaddle. Hey, get in that comment section After you hit that like and subscribe and that bell notification to get notified when I drop these podcasts, get in that comment section. Let me know what you think about this. Can the U.S. Is it constitutional for the U.S. government to step in and say, "Hey, we're banning TikTok for the greater good"? It's just not what you need, because they're going to be spying on you. They're going to be collecting your personal data, and they're going to be using it to their benefit to harm you and the U.S. as a whole. Is it a violation? Maybe. Maybe. And also get in that comment section. Let me know what you think about what's going on in Haiti. If you're saying to yourself, it's none of my business, none of my concern, I can understand that. But sure is a lot of a lot going on down there. Some money's going down there also. Not as much as other countries, other fights and plights around this world of ours, but some funds are going down there. Will more funding be needed? Probably. Probably. And also get in the comment section. Let me know what you think. What's going on with the former President Trump and his cases, in this particular case down in Georgia. Is it that he did, in fact, intimidate the judge, intimidate that attorney general down there when he asked that attorney general, "Hey, find me some votes. I know you got them. Find them, find them, find them. I need them. I got to have them." Was that intimidation and harassment? Intimidation, maybe. Well, I'm sorry. Intimidation, no. Harassment, I'm still not too clear on that. There's a gray area of that for me, because, like I said, I just heard I heard a gentleman trying to get his votes to stay in office. That's all I heard. And also, that district attorney down there, we know she's in the hot seat because of some funds that were quite possibly being used to further a lifestyle she was living, with dinner, dancing, whatever, what have you, trips, lavish lifestyle. Is she in violation of that? Was that funding, or was that money that she used that was supposed to go against trying to incarcerate or lock up or find guilty President Donald Trump? Did she use that funding, or was that some money of her own? Because they said they found a certain amount of money in her home, to which her and her father said, "Hey, I raised my daughter to keep a certain amount of cash on her at all times, no matter what." Nothing wrong with that. So is she in violation of, or has she committed a crime by using those funds for a personal lifestyle? Or are they just two consenting adults that got together and did what they did? Let me know what you think. Let me know what you think. Hey, I'm going to get on out of here. I'm going to skedaddle. And as always, thank you for listening to This Is Just a Thought with Stephen Cornegay. Amen.